That's right.
Can't win them all, you know. What happened there? That was weird. A little creeped out there, Raylene.
You are?
I'm a little creeped out. I'm
Why?
having some little bit of some technical difficulties here.
You are?
I am. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing good. Want to welcome everybody to the Barre Beat podcast, live from Main Street, Barre, Vermont. With us, well, it's just us, Raylene and Michael.
Right. It's just us. Aren't you so lucky?
I'm feeling, I'm a little niffed about this mic. I'm not gonna lie.
Because it's not doing what you need it to do.
Yeah,
It keeps falling over.
It's not okay. I'm gonna replace it.
You're just picking on JD because you know he's listening and you're trying to drive him crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was articulating it all over the place.
Yeah.
Anyway, so welcome to Barre Beat. Got any exciting information for us that you want to shout out?
I don't really have anything exciting. It's been a really stressful day for me, and so truthfully, I'm like, blah, I'm a little bit, just crazy day today, and but I'm good to be here now. Finally, sitting not in my car for hours on end, so that makes me happy. So here we are. We could do a shout out to one of our amazing sponsors while we're headed into Talk Politics. We could talk about the absolutely amazing job that Val and the team down at Yipes has done on signs and on apparel. I was noticing Michael Deering's hat and some of his posters and signs. I mean, they just did an amazing job.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have them right here in the city and willing to do all of that stuff for us as quick as we want it. I am horrible about calling Val on Wednesday and saying, I need this for Friday. And she makes it happen every time. Love them.
Good people.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Speaking of which, Val is Tracy's sister.
Yes.
And I'm going to start trying to go through some of the partnership stuff as part of the Barre Beat. So tonight was the first night of high school boys basketball tourney.
Yeah, the tourneys are happening one right after another.
I have no clue what it is.
That's where Lori Shepard and the girls were tonight. Lori's actually calling some of the games, but we're tournament season for the basketball. It's the end of year. A lot of teams have made it into the finals, and they're playing it all out. They're duking it out on the basketball court.
And that's Four Corners, which also streams live from
Aired Out as well. Yes.
And there are times that they usually stream?
Normally they do Mondays and Wednesdays. This week, they're not doing any of that because of the tournaments. They may join in on Friday, but it all depends on how things roll throughout the week with the games.
So what I see here is Monday is already passed. So, well, actually the Hartford game Hartford and North Country is at 8:15. Then on Wednesday, it's 6:30 is Grace Christian versus the West Rutland. And then 8:15, it's Montpelier versus Otter Valley. And then Thursday night, 6:30 is Hazen versus Winooski. And then at 8:15, it's Thetford versus White River. And that's what we got for this week.
And the thing, and all of that is played right here at the auditorium.
Yeah.
This is the court that everybody wants to play on, is right here at the Odd. Super fun to actually go watch a game. I hadn't been since I was in high school. We won't talk about how long ago that was, but I hadn't been to a game in a lot of years. And I went to a couple last year and had the absolute best time. You can't leave there and not be excited. You just can't. The atmosphere in there is absolutely incredible, no matter what happens. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right. Well, should we jump into?
Sure.
Excited.
Why not jump right into the shit? Right.
You know,
we're going.
What we'll do
from
is
one extreme to another,
and then we'll jump out and maybe do something else, and try to make people feel like they're on the edge. Is that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, we're both kind of off tonight. I'm off because
the political stuff just sometimes seems like ugh to people because, I mean, let's face it, whether people say it or not, there's a lot of divide in our community, and it's super unfortunate that that's the case, but there is. And there's a lot at stake right now that people's wallets are seriously hurting, and we need some help. And I don't know. We need to cut things and trim things and all be in this together as far as suffering a little bit. And because suffering by paying more isn't working.
Yeah.
Not for me anyway. I'm scared to death about what's going to happen with my property taxes.
No, I know. It's definitely something to be concerned about. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's frightening, really. So where are we going first? Council or school board?
Well, I don't really have anything for school board except for.
Well, we have a couple of city candidates that we're going to be interviewing soon. Mm-hmm. We have one city and one town that are already on the books to interview. We'll be doing some one Wednesday night, which is Alice Farrell, Barre Town. And then on Friday evening, we'll be doing Shelley Stevens with the city. And we've invited a couple of others, and we'll see how that goes. But trying to get them in here before the 5th for their last kind of vote for me plug. And we'll see how that goes. I know that the school budget is top of mind for a lot of people. And we know that Phil Scott has tried his damnedest to help out with that a little bit, and not everybody chose to go back to the drawing board. And unfortunately, one of those districts is our district. They decided that, nope, it is what it is, and we're putting it out there.
Right.
Say yes or say no.
Yep. And that's an opportunity that folks will have next Tuesday night from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. In Barre City, it's the Barre Auditorium, and in Barre Town, I believe it's the high school,
the elementary.
BTEMS, the Barre Town Elementary School. So folks go up there and vote for your candidates and for whether or not you support the budget.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, there's a lot of questions surrounding it, and I say, you still have time. Ask those questions. Really know what you're voting for, and really know what that dollar amount is going to do to you in your monthly budget that you have. What is it going to do for you? And really know what how the school has handled spending in the last few years, what they have for surplus and what they don't. And I mean, it's my opinion that you cannot fix test scores and behavior problems with money.
Yeah, you have to have systemic changes, and that's going to be a tough pill for folks to swallow. I will say that I was emailing the business manager today, and she told me that the yield has not been settled yet, which I know that the yield was really low. If we had kept the cap, which could have made taxes, and this is not the case, but if the yield was like $7,000, the taxes could have been for like a $200,000 house, like $1,000+ increase a year. But they got rid of the cap, and now they have like a discount, like a 3-cent discount for BUSD anyway. That's what she said. And it'll be interesting to see how that affects the yield, because if the yield goes down, our amount that we get or that we have to pay in taxes goes up. So it's a really confusing formula. And then they add in like magical 2 cents off the tax rate, which gets even more confusing. Thank you, Vermont, for making everything so hard.
It's hard as it is. And now to figure all of that out on top of a really large budget, it's frightening.
It is. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
I will say, on good news, though, and happy news, I got happy news.
Well, then share it.
We are going to be choosing the photo for the annual report tomorrow night.
Perfect.
Yes. Would you like to see some of the pictures?
I would love to see some of the pictures, and I'm hoping there's different ones to choose from this year.
Yeah, there's different ones.
Perfect.
So this is one picture, and this is of the Barre Heritage Festival. And then another one from the Barre Heritage Festival. And then another one from the Barre Heritage Festival. And then, of course, the holiday lights. But, so I saw that, and that's all there was. I was actually kind of surprised by that. One of the...
I'm not.
You're not?
No.
Why aren't you surprised?
I'm just not. It doesn't seem like a lot of pictures have come out this year.
No?
No, not enough anyway. I was hoping that maybe we should ask Tracy to submit some. She must have some pictures of the concert in the park and things like that as well.
I think some of those are from Tracy.
Truthfully, I think it would be really cool to see some flood recovery effort.
Funny
on
that you mentioned
the front or the back, one or the other, or even both, because I think that, or something that says Barre Strong or something, because let's face it, we battled through a lot, and I think that should be remembered.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because when I looked at those pictures, I was like, man, I feel like there's like some significant pictures that are missing. And this one popped into my mind, which is the one of the guys walking down Merchants Row with the sub pumps, and how that just shows, the resiliency that Barre City has, and just the
Well, can you make sure that picture gets added to the list of pictures to choose from?
I sent it to City Council last night or the night before.
Cool.
Because it just felt, I had to double check with Shannon first, because it was one of her pictures. And she was fine with it, which of course she's going to be fine with it. She loves Barre. And it's just one of those pictures that just feels like Barre.
Now, does it have to be chosen tomorrow?
Yeah, we have to get those printed like ASAP.
Oh, okay.
So, and I see that the taco shell. I was reading Rosemary's comment, but the taco shell piped in, and we'll talk about that. You were there on Saturday.
It was a great turnout, even though it was super bitter cold. They killed it. I mean, they just did. The first time out, there was a large crowd. They were super busy. they just, I mean, Liam, his team, they killed it. They did a great job. I'm really looking forward to having them in the community. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that was up at Wilkins?
That was at Wilkins, and they'll be at Wilkins every Tuesday for Taco Tuesday.
Nice.
So, and then they'll be at other locations in the city. And as I told you the other day, they'll be looking to the city and city council to get the correct vendor permits that will allow him to do that.
Excellent. And we'll wait for that. Then on top of the going back to the city council excitement, we have authorized the manager to, so get ready to watch Raylene. Authorize the manager to negotiate and execute a mediation contract.
I thought that we moved past that. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what mediation is going to do. I'm really not. I just don't understand the need, especially right now when there are so many great concerns, that this is what the concern is.
Yeah. It'll be an interesting conversation. I thought we've pretty much settled it. I thought we were heading down the facilitation route, but I guess maybe not.
Which is a whole different ball game.
Correct. It's a different setup. Facilitation is way different than mediation,
and it should be public.
Yeah. Oh. Yes, it should be public.
Absolutely.
It should be public.
I mean, this isn't something that should be done behind the scenes. You represent your community.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So I don't know if it's I don't know if the purpose of the executive session is to hash out our differences. I mean, I hash out my differences all the time. I have no problem admitting my differences. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't, are we supposed to bring the Festivus poll in and air our grievances?
I don't know.
I don't know how that's going to work. It will be interesting. I don't know. We'll see what it's going to be like tomorrow. The conversation, and who knows, maybe the problem here is that it says mediation and it should say facilitation, which facilitation, not a bad idea. I mean, like I said, when last time we had this conversation, I did facilitation, or not, I didn't do facilitation. We had a facilitated process for the Justice Center during our strategic planning when I was on the board then. And it was a great process, and it was a facilitated process. If we're going to do a facilitated process for housing, I'm all in. I think that's a good idea. I think we can do it without it, but if somebody wants to
is that what the majority of this is about, is the housing issues and what we're facing? Or do we even know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I do want to read what Linda wrote here. I already pay just under $7,000 for taxes in Barre, and another $1,300 for water and sewer. I also appreciate our services: fire, ambulance, police department, street department, paved roads, etc. You have to pay if you want these services. And it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. I completely agree with that. And
me too. I'm just not sure we can add a huge school budget to that, because money is not going to fix behavior issues and test scores. That's where I'm at with it.
I agree with that. I mean, I'm a big proponent of, we need systemic changes in our school system. And people will ask me, well, what does that mean? Well, I'll tell you what that means. It means holding people accountable. We have to hold children accountable. We have to hold parents accountable, and we have to hold teachers accountable. Right. I'm sorry if you're a child and you're coming in and beating up on teachers, it's not happening anymore. And that's all there is to it. And then if you're a parent that's pissed about that,
Right.
and you come in and you start screaming at a teacher,
Yep.
guess what? Not going to happen. Immediately, like, removed from the premises. That's my opinion on that.
Well, it's
and
what
it's
happened
the
to
same
us
thing with-
when we were younger.
Right,
We would have
exactly.
been suspended from school for the day, or
Yep.
there would have been some sort of repercussion. Now there's just seems like there's no consequence. You just you try to talk to them, and you try to massage the situation, and you can't do that with every situation.
Right.
I agree that there are some situations that you can totally take somebody away, give them a minute to take a breath. That's what they need.
Yep.
And bring them back, and and you can deal with that. But if it's a repetitive problem, if it's something that is constantly happening on a daily, weekly, even monthly basis with the same student, then let's show that student what is and isn't acceptable.
Yep. And on the teacher side, then we have to talk about what are we teaching in our school systems, because I feel like that's going to be another part of that systemic change that we have to do. We have to focus more on the things that are important, less on allowing kids to use these,
Right.
because that causes cognitive delay. And I will say that it causes cognitive delay because I don't know, all the studies say that it causes cognitive delay, and I've seen kids.
Yeah.
It causes cognitive delay. And I'll say it again.
For us.
Cognitive delay for me.
Yeah, it really does. It has interrupted a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I don't see where I know many employers now that my son, where he works for a granite shed, and you keep your phone in your locker. You can have it at your lunchtime, and you can have it at your coffee break, and that's it. And that's the way it should be. They're not paying you to be on your phone and Facebook and this, that, and the other all day long. They're paying you to do a job while you're there. And when you're at school, your parents are paying dearly for you to learn.
Yep. 100% agree.
Yeah.
So then the next thing we're going to talk about on city council agenda is buyouts and our next steps, which I know that you're very much interested in that because you're going to have a couple folks from the North End on, correct?
I am. So one of them that was scheduled for yesterday had to cancel because she's very sick, and I'm hoping that she can reschedule by the week's end. But yeah.
Nice. I know. So the buyout conversation is coming up. A couple weeks ago, it was probably after a conversation with you, because I'm where I stand as a counselor. I rely on staff, and usually the person that's driving these conversations would be the mayor. If Tom was driving, if Tom was in the mayor's seat, we probably would have bought out a bunch of houses by now. But that being said, it just feels like nothing was happening, and hearing from you and from other residents in our community about, hey, what's going on?
Right.
I actually asked Nicholas to put it on the agenda and
Well,
just
and
start
I've told
moving
you,
forward.
I've had people ask, and because I was down kind of in the thick of it during the recovery, and I was with a lot of people during the day and helping and mucking and bringing stuff. I met a lot of people that I wouldn't have otherwise met. Some of them, of course, reached out because they knew us from the show. They weren't people that I really knew well, but they were people that are listeners and viewers. And so they would reach out to us knowing that we were working with Team Rubicon and Samaritan's Purse and a few others that were here trying to help organize where they would go. And so I met some really great people through that are still very much greatly suffering, and not a lot of people know about it. Not a lot of people know that we still have people in our North End that are using kerosene heat, that don't have electricity, that are, using buckets for a restroom and still have great portions of their houses separated off from the rest of their house because it's not cleaned, or there's mold or mildew and things like that. And there are still some people with water from the December floods that just aren't totally cleaned out. So, and they're not really good about speaking up. They feel a little lost. They feel like in some respect the city should have come to them. They feel like they have reached out here and there and they're not getting what they need. So they've like thrown their hands up in the air and said, screw it, which is super sad to me. That should never be the case.
Yeah. And I think, we just need to start moving on it. And Connie points out, how many years did it, she didn't, she did say how many years. And you're right. It took years. So every moment that we delay is just adding an additional time frame onto it.
Right. Exactly.
And it did take years, for the buyout of those houses.
We're what? We are 8 months into this.
Right.
Really.
We just need to
pretty
start
close to
making
8 months into it.
Yeah. So there's actually the list of houses that are for buyouts, and I'm just going to share it. It was in the packet, so I'm going to share it. So this is the north end, and as you can see, the yellow areas are ones where they have indicated that they want to buy out. The pink areas are properties that were affected by the flood. So not everybody wants a buyout. And that's okay. Just because you're in the flooded area doesn't mean that you have to get a buyout. And it doesn't, and I assure you of this, if you don't want a buyout,
no one's going to
force you. The only place that I would ever support a forced eminent domain conversation would be, somewhere on Main Street. And for those that know what my feelings are there. But anyway, so
there's one gross building not too far from here on the south end in the middle.
Yeah,
was a five and dime at one point.
I'm not pointing out any buildings that
you don't have to.
That may or may not have a swimming pool of muck in the bottom of it.
Right.
I would never say that.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get into trouble.
That's all right. Hey, it is what it is.
And then, of course, we got the Scampini Square area.
And that is one of the houses that I just referenced to you, kind of on the corner of Berlin and Scampini. That is one of the people that I just referenced to you.
Yep.
And I'm really hoping that they do join me. They are nervous to join me because they're worried. And this is the part that makes me the most furious. And hurt for them. I literally hurt for them that they feel like if they say something negative that they're going to be retaliated against in some way because they're being vocal about the fact that they haven't really had much help or contact or communication.
It'll be interesting to watch those shows. So this is the Scampini Square, I don't know why I'm saying so quite a bit over there has been requested to be bought out. And then Gunners Brook area, which as you can see, there was quite a few houses there as well. And then River and Granite Street. And then North Main Street. And those two, one of those houses they came in for an abatement, a beautiful old building, completely destroyed.
Terrible.
And this is Brooklyn Street, Washington, some in Courier Park, downtown area. We have quite a few people that requested a buyout for certain.
Do you know about
sure.
how many
I think there was 40.
that requested one?
Yeah, I think there was 40. I'm pretty sure there was like 40.
And I told you on Friday that we had a really good, there was a good meeting. I felt it was a good meeting about the trestle down
57
behind the North End, Cumberland Farms, that trestle. And that was one of the thoughts, to start really engaging and talking about what they can do to help mitigate circumstances in the North End in the future. And then they've already talked about removing those dams. There's 3 of them, correct?
Yes. 3.
So they've talked about that. So they are also, we should just make sure that people know that when they talk about rebuilding, when they talk about taking, buying houses, those sorts of things, that the conversation around what to do to help prevent in the future is being had, because not all people know and understand that.
So regarding the trestle, there was like 5 different options that were presented. Did they provide pictures? Because they did not provide conceptual drawings, or
yes, conceptual.
They didn't. So there was no conceptual, good conceptual drawings that I would consider in the packet. But there were 5 options, which is bridge rehabilitation, bridge replacement with a new span structure, 2-span structure. I don't know what that means, but bridge.
So the way the posts were underneath it, how they were right now, they are like these single solid, almost railroad tie type posts that trap everything. And so more of a structure where it was just single post on either side, so that the flow was easy.
All right.
Easier.
Then bridge replacement with a new single span structure. And then bridge removal while retaining existing substructure for potential future use.
Right.
And then bridge removal including substructure.
Right.
So
Which
that's the 5
pretty much
options.
where we all fell on just get rid of it, especially because it's really used for one business. So
Swenson.
So not Swenson. I think it was the GIV, Granite Industries of Vermont, I believe, which is not owned by the Martells anymore, but one of those sheds out there off of Willie. And so the general consensus was just remove it because, for one business to have it, because it would make their life easier and they're making income from it while jeopardizing all these other homes didn't make a lot of sense. And it was Donnell Dexter that said there are other options. There are ways that they could load and unload. There's still the ramp right next to the tracks at the Dollar General parking lot. The Dollar General where Tom owns the building down here on North Main. So, if they had to drive truck from Dollar General over to Willie Street, it's not like they're beating the hell out of the roads the whole way through the city or anything. There are still options for them to utilize the train without using that trestle.
Right. And it was Swenson Stoneworks and Granite Resources Incorporated.
Right. So now it's called Granite Resources. Yep.
Yep. That put a letter in the packet, at least, in support of keeping the trestle. But yeah.
And I feel for them. I do. I understand that it's a big part of their business, but more importantly, I understand that it's the safety and the peace of mind of the people that live on the North End.
Yeah.
Especially if there are alternatives.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna state how amazing, just a side note of one of our sponsors,
Okay.
Mr. Tom Lozon.
Yes, absolutely. Salvador and Babic.
Yeah. And I'm going to share the screen here of him and another
Fecto.
sponsor.
Yeah.
Fecto
Homes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he and Jimmy got together. Jimmy's
caused
a great
some
guy.
trouble.
Yeah.
Caused some trouble, right?
They did cause some trouble.
Yeah.
Which
forward.
is crazy to me because pushing for growth and development and that's what everybody says they want. When I want to truly hear from what is it that people consider affordable housing anymore? I really would like to somehow pinpoint that. And I would really even like to get some contractors' input and on what their cost to build is right now. Get some input from realtors, local realtors that know where we're at. Like, what is the median and what is the range right now? And then what is it going to take to create low income? And then you say that you want low income or, affordable, but what is affordable?
Right.
And how do we get that? How do we get that without pissing the people off that are screaming, not in my neighborhood? So where do we go? There seems to be no happy medium here. And so if there's any talk of any development whatsoever, it causes everybody to lose their minds. And there has to be a middle ground somewhere. But there also has to be some logical thought to it in what people paid to do things. I mean, just go to the friggin' grocery store and see how much it costs you. Building materials are still extremely expensive. I know because I need to replace every single window in my house, as well as a couple of doors. And the cost is frightening. Absolutely frightening. I have 13 windows and it's going to be in 2 doors and it's going to be well over $30,000. It's, so what does it take to build a whole house? And how do you make that affordable? And for the people bitching, buy a house, sell it or rent it out for what you consider affordable. If you're able to somehow fork over the money and invest the money, then please do it and make it affordable for somebody.
Yeah.
But just know that you're going to eat some of that money, that expense every month.
I think when listening to Tom talk about it, who knows about the housing issues and knows about this stuff, he said it was $300+ a square foot.
A square foot.
And that's just insane. And really difficult. What affordable housing is, correct. People have that term saying affordable housing, but nobody really knows. I mean, for me, my definition of affordable housing is super cheap housing that somebody has to at least have a roof over their head.
Right.
And
if they have a roof over their head and they're sheltered from the weather and they have a place to cook and store food.
Yeah. I think we have to change our standards on what we think housing is. Because you're not going to get the big houses,
No, you're going to have tiny
22,000
homes, mobile homes.
Yep.
You're going to have all kinds of different housing developments. We will probably see some tiny homes, whatever it takes, right? And if the people living in them are happy and feel comfortable and safe and sound, then that's what matters.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, I certainly didn't. My first home my mom cried, really, truthfully. When I bought my first house, I took my mom there to look at with me and said, this is what I put a deposit on 2 days ago and I'm moving in 60 days. And she cried. She said, you're out of your mind. And I just worked really hard on it a little bit at a time and made it comfortable in what it was. Was it a palace? Absolutely not. But it was my home.
Right. Right. Yeah. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff. But I'm really glad that he's moving that forward. Tom moving that forward is a huge step for Barre, and to
Absolutely.
get that Northern Borders grant would be amazing. It's really unfortunate that we didn't get it, or that
last year
Prospect Heights didn't get it last year.
Yeah.
There was some concern about what caused that and whether or not there was, communication going on, talking smack about BADC in it's just, I just hope that, we can push this forward. And I hope every elected official in Barre City would help push this forward.
Right. Rise
sometimes
above all
I feel
of that.
like, rise above your hatred for BADC and, for people, and just support something that could fundamentally have an impact on our grand list and our tax base and housing needs in Barre City.
And we're asked to do that all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I have never seen, I have been virtually silent, literally, about so many things. And God knows it's been tough, like tongue bleeding tough. I post things on my own page, and then a couple of groups here or there, I might post something that comes up. Nothing, just Shelley Stevens' sign I posted. I've known Shelley for a lot of years. If I was in the city, I'd absolutely vote for her. I support her 100%, and I openly support Alice, and I will vote for Alice in the town, period.
Yep.
And so those are things that I share. The attacks and the badgering and the bullying and it blows my mind from the people that always are saying that that's what I do, that that's what you do, that that's what we do. We are the horrible people. We are remaining silent, not being that way, but we're ignoring it instead. We're just choosing not to get in the middle of the bullshit. And ignoring it also makes us evil people. Did you know that?
You can't win.
No, you absolutely cannot win.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're willing to settle down, calm down, keep your opinions to yourself, and just let you live your way, I'll live my way. That doesn't matter. You're going to get attacked for doing that too.
I'll just say, I will open my mouth and I will make the comment again that, for the Prospect Heights project, when you verbally assault a project, you can scuttle one.
Exactly.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Exactly.
And once again, I'll make a point that when I say we, I'm thinking of the city, the Northern Borders application, and Tom wrote about it in his post.
Yeah.
That's really important to get that. And, having whatever, it doesn't
And there's
matter.
great opportunity with the governor's money and his
exactly.
and what he has brought to the council and put on the table as well. And the same sort of thing is happening where, and it would be an absolute shame if that went by the wayside because of that kind of stuff. It just, it really blows my mind. I don't know why I'm surprised. I mean, I knew before that, they will somehow, some way, these people that are choosing to attack, find a way to beat it down and make their point, rah, 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 and expect you to just sit silently. And I've done it, and but I'm this close to all done with that shit, and sorry.
Well, I do want to point out Eileen responded to Linda Kuchar's comment about kids not being able to read the clock, and yeah, it's something that a lot of kids don't know how to do. They don't know how to read the clock, and the big hand is on the one, and they just don't understand
and
analog
no cursive.
clocks.
And no
that's
cursive.
In cursive. Oh my
That's
goodness, cursive is amazing.
I think that
for the
that's your
record, hold up.
signature.
For the
It's
record,
your signature.
I am not good at cursive. Just
Right.
for clarity, I can somewhat do it, but I'm terrible at penmanship.
You're terrible at it, but you were taught it.
Correct.
You were taught
can read
to
it.
sign your name, and I mean, I have a 14-year-old nephew who I write his Christmas card in cursive, and he says, "Why do you do that? I told you I couldn't read it." That's so discouraging to me. It's gross.
Yeah. Let's talk about something nice.
All right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, got a comment, or not a comment, but I see here DJ Chuck Lyford will be playing tunes all afternoon at Barre's Solar Eclipse Block Party that's being put on by the Barre Partnership.
Awesome.
So that'll be really cool. And
yes,
the
and
last solar eclipse.
we have we've teamed up with a sponsor of ours, Optical Expressions, and we will have some of the eclipse glasses to be that we'll be giving away. So Optical Expressions, as everyone knows, is new to the city. They moved from the Berlin Mall down here to the Blanchard Block, right up there on the 4th floor, and not Blanchard, Blanchard Block.
Blanchard Block. You're
right
right
on the 4th floor. Get off the elevator and you're right there. They're right there. And they have gotten some of the eclipse glasses, and Will is going to be coming in and talking to us on the 5th of March. He'll come in and let us know why it's important to wear them, why it's important not to buy the ones, certain ones on Amazon and, the dollar store and things like that, and then expect that you can look directly at this thing. Just kind of talk a little bit about that and the path and where you'll really need to have these glasses because it's going to be so much more intense. All of that. Yeah. Super excited about that.
Nice. And another good news is Sweet Vermont Treats is open, right?
You're right up here. So they got their final permit, I believe, Thursday or Friday last week. And they are right up where Traw Hill Grocery used to be. And I don't know if they opened yet.
No, I think I said that way too early.
I think they.
My bad. They were, Tracy was just noting it as a, they've passed their last inspection.
I have to say goodnight to Max. Good night, Max. Big hugs and kisses to you.
They are open.
They are?
It says we will, it says we will be open.
Yeah.
Every Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Starting March 3rd.
I don't know if I'm excited about that or scared to death about that.
March 2nd.
Like, what if I really like it?
I know it's March, so I should probably just read the entire thing because I'm messing it up.
Yeah, you probably should at this point.
They're probably going to be pretty unhappy that I'm messing it up, and I do apologize. Congratulations. Welcome to Barre. Barre is very thankful for you. But they plan on offering fresh baked goods every weekend starting on Saturday. This Saturday. This Saturday. What was wrong with me? March 2nd and Sunday, March 3rd. And they will be open to walk in and purchase items. Just noting that they will only have baked goods, cinnamon buns, cookies, cupcakes, etc. for now. As they acquire more items, coffee, grocery items, etc., they plan to add hours and days of operation. So congrats.
Yes, I'm looking forward to having them
I
here.
bet you are. You live right up there.
I know. And there's so many, and I know of a few more businesses that are coming soon, and I'm just super excited for it. I think it's awesome that we're growing again.
Yeah.
And things seem to be.
Well, and that was a staple there, the Traw Hill Grocery.
Yeah. And these guys are going to get groceries as well. They're, going to be growing their inventory and open a little more. And
Nice.
It'll be nice.
And then on Saturday as well, from 4:30 to 7 p.m., Pie to the Rescue from the Episcopalian Church, the Episcopal Church of the Good Shepherd, 39 Washington Street. Pie, 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 oh me, oh my, the Church of the Good Shepherd. Those people who are famous for fun and delicious themed dinners are at it again. This time they're putting together a farm-to-table dinner to benefit food relief efforts in central Vermont. Tickets for takeout meals will be picked up between 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. Dine-in meals will be served from 5 to 7 p.m. The cost is $20 per meal.
Nice. They do a lot for the community. They hold a lot of the recovery meetings
nice.
at the Good Shepherd as well. So I'm super grateful for them the fact that they open up the church and allow people to come in and have their meetings there is a really big deal. Desperately needed around here. And I'm just super grateful for them and what they do for the community.
Great. Yeah. So other than that, I don't really have anything. Nothing more to discuss. Do you want to make more comments about, Tom and Mr. Fecto?
Well,
it's amazing
it's amazing. Thank you. Tom needs to run for mayor.
I am so glad that you mentioned that because I wanted to share a video.
Well, so many people have reached out and asked, is he going to? I wish he would. I had somebody else tell me that, they were going to buy signs and put them all over the city so that he like kind of was forced into it almost. And I had somebody else say to me that she was going to go to council and beg him to during visitors and communications.
I've been begging him to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a sycophant. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Only because I've seen what he can do in that position.
Right.
And Brett, yes, I want a Chick-fil-A.
Well, and we just want,
just as a side note,
because we want movement. We want to feel security that things are happening and going to be taken care of by somebody who knows, who's done it, who's been there, who's understands, and who is willing to put his money where his mouth is. And he's always done that for this community.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of people that like to shit on him, and I always say, don't bite the hand that feeds you, because what he and Karen give this community is huge.
Absolutely.
And not everybody understands or gets that fact. That
I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully
there's my pitch.
I know, right? I'm hopeful that he does. I'm really trying my best. I'm even sending out comments.
Have you begged yet?
Yeah, I begged.
Oh, okay.
I begged.
Does he like cookies? Scotch? Bourbon?
I feel like he would be a Scotch kind of guy.
I think so too. You
Actually,
give him
he
a
might be
really
like a
nice
whiskey.
bottle of,
whiskey or
booze.
Nah, he's probably a Scotch.
You think so? Yeah.
He's probably wine cooler.
Well, I highly doubt it. But yeah. Anyway.
All right. So I think I don't have anything else. You have?
I don't have anything else at all.
Should I play the video?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna play the video.
Okay, you play the video.
I'm gonna play the video. I'm gonna play it.
I'm super happy that you're gonna play the video.
You're super happy?
Yeah.
Me too. Oh no, it's not working.
Oh gosh.
We'll try that again. There we go.
All right.
It's still not working. Why isn't it working?
The reason people aren't voting.
What is it that you have done? Maybe you'll just
there we
have
go.
to.
Now it's working.
That's right, Joe.
Sort of a double win. I mean, people The reason people aren't building here or in Montpelier or anywhere because it's $350 a foot. So I actually do have a plan. It's an investment in the future, but it's a plan that would help front some of those costs.
What are you doing to it?
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Well, it was working. Leave it alone.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, no? Anyway. All right. Well, folks, you have a lovely evening.
Yes. And I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yeah. And I'll see everybody else on Wednesday as well.
Yes. So, yeah, I'll be here in the morning, and then I'll be here in the evening with you and Alice.
And then I'll be here on Friday morning.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll be
Friday
back in the
evening.
evening. Yeah.
So
great week for us.
Pretty busy week. Mm-hmm. So I hope everyone have a wonderful evening. Click like.
Yes. Follow.
Click share.
Invite your friends.
Yeah. And if you're on Facebook, subscribe. And yes, invite your friends.
And ask questions. If you have questions in regards to the school budget, if you have questions in regards to anything on the agenda, ask the questions, please. Either here or by reaching out directly.
Brett, I'm going to go down there right now and I'm going to clean that dust off because that's not cool. All right. You guys have a wonderful evening. Stay out of trouble.